Hi everyone, how you doing? You welcome back to the channel. Apologies for not posting for a while, but guys, I'm back. On today's video, we'll be cutting and sewing this beautiful pencil skirt. I made use of 1.5 yards of damask fabric. So guys, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button if you find this video helpful. Thank you very much. So guys, let's jump right into it. So to draft the straight skirt, the first thing you have to do is to get the length of the skirt. And when taking your measurement, you tell your client to stand as if they are putting on a heel. The length of this skirt is 43. So the first we have to do now is to get waist to hip. Waist to hip I'm working with is 9 inches. Then after doing that, now we get waist to nail. The waist to nail I'm working with is 23 inches. Then now I will get the length of my skirt, which is 43 inches. So now I'm done connecting the lines together. It's always good to label your pattern. This is the startup line, which is the waist, hip, and the nail of my skirt, the hem of the skirt. I'll drop the nipple to nipple measurement on the waist, which is 4.5. So from the hip line, I'll come up by 2 inches. And here now mark 4.5. Draw a straight line for my nipple to nipple measurements. I'll open the darts by 0.5 inches. I'll connect the darts legs together. So after getting the dart intake, now I'll drop my waist measurement. The waist I'm working with is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So here I'll put down 10 inches. And I'll add 1 inch for the dart intake. So on the hip line, I'll divide my hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 46. 46 divided by 4 will give me 11.5. So here I'll put down 11.5. And on my nail here, I will minus 1 inches from my hip to the nail. 10.5 here. So now I'll bring this 10.5 down to the hem of the skirt. So here I'll mark 10.5 on the hem of the skirt. From the nail, I'll connect down to the hem of my skirt with a straight line. Okay, I'm done connecting the nail to the hem line. Now I'll connect hip to nail, then waist to hip this way. This is my center front here. On the center front here, I'll come down by 1 inches on the center front on the waist, and on the side of the waist I'll come up by 0.5 inches. So now this 0.5 inches I came up here on the side of the waist, I'll connect it to this 1 inch I came down here on the center of my front like this. So we are done with this. Now cut out the front pattern, then we'll draft the back pattern. So now we have to draft the back pattern of our skirts. The first thing I did, I came down by 1 inches for my startup line, which is the waist. Then I came in by 1 inches for the zipper allowance. Then for my hip, I came down from the waist by 9 inches for the hip, and from waist to nail is 23 inches. So after doing that, now we have to get the nipple to nipple measurements. For my nipple to nipple measurement, I'm making use of 4.5 inches. So I'll put down 4.5 on the waist, and I'll come on the hip line, and I'll come up by 2 inches from my hip line, 2 inches, and I will mark 4.5 for my nipple to nipple point. So now I'll connect this with a straight line. Now we have to open these darts. I'll open my darts by 0.5 inches from the waist, 0.5 inches here. Then on this other side also 0.5 inches. So now connect the dart legs together. So after getting your darts, now we have to tighten the back bulge for the zipper at the back of our skirts. So I'll come in by 1/2 inches on the waist, and I'll connect it down to my hip line here. Now I have to divide my waist by 4. The waist I'm working with is 40. 40 divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. It's after this 1/2 inches I came in, that's where I dropped my waist measurement. Then I'll check what I have for my dart. I have 1 inches for the dart. I'll add my 1 inches back for the dart. Then on the hip, I will divide my hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 46. 46 divided by 4 will give me 11.5. So I'll put down my 11.5 here on my hip. Then now we have to work on the nail. So for my hip measurement, I will remove 1 inches from 11.5. I have 10.5. If you remove 1 inches from 11.5, you have 10.5. I remove 1 inches for my hip because I want to walk freely. When you're working for a plus size, you remove 1 inches from your hip. But when you're working for a small size, you minus 2 inches to give it that peg effect on your skirt. So now this 1 inches I remove from my hip measurement to the nail, I will divide 1 inches by 2. 1 inches divided by 2 will give me 1/2 inches. So on the center back here, I'll come in and mark 1/2 inches. Then on the side back, I'll put down 1/2 inches also. Now this is my 10.5 inches. Now connect from waist to hip like this. Then from hip, I'll connect to the nail on the side back this way. Then on this center back here, I'll connect from my hip down to the nail. On the hem of my skirt, I will do what I did on the nail also. I'll come in by 1/2 inches from the center back here, and I'll put down the remaining 10.5 I have here. So now connect from nail to the hem of the skirt. I'm done joining the nail to the hem of the skirt. Now on your side back, the way we did for the side front, you come up on the waist by 1/2 inches and mark. And now you connect this with the straight line first, like this. Now you connect this to your first dart leg here. On the dart leg, that's where you connect it to. This way, you can see the way I place it, my curve. So the first dart leg we have here. It's on the dart leg. You stop at the dart leg. Now you have to mark out your zipper allowance. So for my zipper allowance, I will, from this 1/2 inches we came here, I'll start to mark 1 inches for the zipper allowance. 1 inches. I'll do this to the hem of my skirt, then we'll cut out. So now to cut, you cut out the waist first. See the way I'm to cut from the zipper allowance. So now I'm done cutting out the back pattern of the skirt. Now the next you have to do is to mark out your band. So for the band, you pin your pattern to another pattern paper, and now use 1.25 for my band. Mark it to the side of your front. So now make use of my ruler to connect this. Okay, that is the side of my band. Then after marking out your band, you have to mark out the dart also, because you are going to fold your dart out from the band, because your band does not need the darts. So you mark it out this way. Please, you just use your ruler to mark it out this way. This is it. I'll cut this out, then we'll cut the back band also. So now you fold in the darts for your band. I'm through with the cutting of the band. This is the band for the back and the band for the front. This is my center front, side front. This is the center back, the zipper allowance, side back. So now I'll cut this pattern on my fabric and I will tell you what to do next. I'm through with the cutting of my fabric and the lining. I made use of damask for the main fabric, and for lining I use satin doll face. So this is the band for the back. You can see I've added seam allowance at the side. I added 2 inches for the seam allowance for the side back. Then on the up of my band I add ½ inches for joining allowance and ½ inches also for joining allowance on the hem of the band. And this is the center front of the band. Note your center front should be on fold the way mine is. This is the lining for the front, ½ inches up, ½ inches down, then 2 inches for seam allowance at the side of the front of the band. So for the skirt, this is my skirt. I added 2 inches for seam allowance also for the skirt from the waist to the hem of my skirt. Then for the lining of the skirt, I fold, when cutting your lining, you fold your hem of your skirt this way by 2 inches. The main fabric is longer than the lining by 2 inches. This is the front and this is my back of the skirts. We've already had zipper allowance already on the pattern. So what I did for the back, I just add 2 inches for seam allowance from the waist down to the hem of my skirt. Also, when cutting on your lining, you make sure you fold your hem of your skirt for the main fabric this way and you cut your lining. This is it. So now the next we have to do now is to separate the pattern paper from the fabric. So now the next I have to do, I will go and sew down my darts for the back and the front. If I do this for the main fabric and the lining, then I'll tell you what to do next. I'm through with the sewing of my darts. This is the back of the skirts. Now after sewing your dart, the next you have to do is to join the center backs together. To do that, you will come on your center back. This is the center back, and you come up by 1.25, which is the band allowance we have for the band, 1.25 here. And now come down by, for my nail is, for the nail, when we are drafting the pattern, we did 23 inches for the nail. I'll come up by 2 inches, which is 21 inches. That's where the slits will start from. First, I will sew on loose stitch from here, from the waist down to 9.5 inches. That is where my zipper will stay. My zipper will stop at 9.5 inches. From this 9.5 inches down to 21 inches, I will sew on tight stitch. Then from this 21 inches down to the hem of the skirt, I will sew on loose stitch, and I will tell you what to do next. I'm through with the sewing of the center back. Now lose the loose stitch for the slit and for the zipper. The next we have to do is to fix in the band. I'll be fixing the band on the front first. You launch your center front, you place your skirt this way, you bring your band, you launch the hem of your band. Now we'll be fixing the band this way. I'll pin this down. So now I'm done pinning the band to the skirt. Now I'm going to sew this on ½ inches round the skirt. I'll do this for the back also and the lining, and I will tell you what to do next when I'm done. I'm through with the sewing of the band to the skirt, and you can see this damask fabric is it fairy, they used to call it a lot, so I have to overlock the skirts all round the band and the sides with the hem of the skirts. So now the next we have to do, after fixing your band on the main fabric and on the lining, what we are doing on this fabric, we do the same thing also on the lining. Now the next I have to do is to bring the hem of my back skirt and the hem of the lining also, I'll go now and sew on half inches on the back skirt. I'll do this for the other side of the back also, and I'll do the same thing also on the front of my skirt. I will turn the hem of the skirt and I will tell you what to do next. I'm through with the sewing of the hem of the skirt. You can see how it is, and I've given it a good press. The next we have to do is to fixing the zipper. We'll be fixing the zipper on the main fabric. Now this is my zipper that I want to use. I'll go and fix my zipper on the machine. I'll sew this side first down, then I'll do the same thing also on this other side of the skirt, and I will tell you what to do next when I'm done. I'm through with the fixing of the zip. You can see how it looks. So after fixing your zip, you turn your fabric this way, the fabric and the line. You can see how neatly finished it is inside. You do it like this. See the way I did mine. Then I will now open it up this way, and I will bring this side of the lining and this side of the fabric. I'll make sure the bands are together this way. Now I'll go to the sewing machine. I will sew on 1 inch that I have for zipper allowance straight down to the hem, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. I'm through with the sewing of the zipper allowance, and I've sewn the vent also at the back. You can see how it is. I sew on 1 inch. So now flip it to the front. You can see how neatly finished it is inside. Now I'll do the same thing on this other side of the skirt. I'm through with the joining of the lining to the main fabric. Now let me show you the inside of the skirt. You can see how it looks. Now if you want to use Emmy gum to hold the lining down this way, you can go ahead, but for now there's no light, so I'm not doing that now. We'll just continue with the front. Okay, so for the front skirt, now we have to turn the band. We turn the lining and the main fabric on the band. I'll go and sew this on 1/2 inches. You know, we added 1/2 inches on the band, so now we'll sew that down to this other side of the waist, and I will tell you what to do next when I'm done. I'm through with the sewing of the band for the front. Now we'll keep this aside so we'll sew the back band also. So now for the band or for the back, I will go and sew on 1/2 inches to this end of my waist, and I will show you when I'm done. I'm through with the sewing of the band. You can see how it is. Now I'll give this a good press, and I will tell you what to do next. I'm through with the pressing of the back skirt. You can see how the slit looks at the back. This is it, and this is my zipper for the back. The next we have to do now is to join the back and the front together. Now you go ahead to mark out your allowance you add to the fabric. Mine I added 2 inches, and I've marked it out. On the hip also I add 2 inches of mark it out. Now I'll go and sew this down to the hem of my skirt, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. I'm done with the sewing of the sides of my skirt, and I've given it a good press. I will display this on my dress form for you to see. So guys, we've come to an end of this video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your soul friends. Thank you, and thank you very much to my returning subscribers. Thank you. I really appreciate you all. See you guys on the next one. God bless you.